If you're brand new to Warhammer 40,000, figuring out which units to put into your army can be one of the hardest choices you have to make.
What do I do? What do I do?
Welcome back to 40k 101. Today I'm going to show you how 6 key factors made me pick one unit over another. We'll compare Intercessors to the Infernus Squad, and I'll show you how small differences in a datasheet guided my choice on picking this unit for my army.
You're the one! You are the one!
For my first point, we can use the core stats by looking at things like OC, range, or toughness. This tells you if it's a backline shooter, a frontline bruiser, or something in between. You can always grab an Army's Codex or use the Warhammer 40,000 app to check for stats. But if you're still just curious and haven't made any purchases yet, there are a number of free tools like newrecruit.eu that you can use to check on these details. So the Infernus Squad have a profile similar to that of a standard Intercessor. It's just got one less OC. Otherwise, it contains 5 models, each equipped with a bolt pistol and a Pyre blaster. A strength 5 gun, which is fantastic, as it can wound opposing Space Marines on a 3+, and with a damage 1, it measures up pretty effectively against the bolters of the Intercessor. It does, however, diverge significantly from the bolter. As a Pyre blaster is a flamethrower, it gains the Torrent Universal Special Rule, meaning it automatically hits the target it's aiming at, as long as it's in range, which is sadly only 12 inches. And interestingly, it makes a d6 number of attacks each. This is what we call a bit swingy, as a d6 is quite a range. It can mean the unit has as few as 5 attacks, or as many as 30. However, as you don't have to roll to hit with it, you only ever need to roll to wound, making this an extremely deadly unit to face on the tabletop. With the stats and roll done, the number 2 thing I look for are other units to synergize with. Synergies can happen between units and transports, units supporting other units, but a good place to start is with character units. Most characters have a special ability called Leader, where they can be attached to a unit and become a part of that unit. Let's take my favorite Space Marine character type, the Chaplain. They can lead a host of different units, including both the Intercessor and Infernus Squads. However, we know that the Infernus Squad is very ranged focused, whereas the Chaplain's Litany of Hate ability is all about melee attacks, so not that useful with the Infernus Marines. If we swap that out for a Captain, however, whilst we won't gain much benefit from the Finest Hour ability, we might gain a great deal of use of the Rites of Battle ability, allowing us to use a stratagem for 1 less command point than normal. This brings us nicely to my third point, Stratagem Synergy. Stratagems in Warhammer 40,000 are special, limited use, tactical abilities deployed by spending the requisite amount of command points, a currency that is generated at the start of every command phase. Every army can make use of the 11 universal stratagems found in the core rules, and every detachment gains access to 6 different stratagems that let you basically bend the rules or gain powerful advantages at crucial moments in the game. It's really worth reading over all of the different stratagems, but I'm going to draw your attention to the one you need to get really familiar with. Fire Overwatch is an incredibly reactive stratagem that you can use during your opponent's turn if an enemy unit begins or ends a move within 24 inches of one of your units. That unit can proceed with a round of shooting as if it were your shooting phase, and all for a single command point. It's pretty good, right? Well, there is a catch. Those guns can only ever hit on a dice roll of a 6, regardless of their normal ballistic skill. Meanwhile, my boys the Infernus Marines here, well, as you can see in their datasheet, they don't actually have a ballistic skill, because if you'll recall, the Torrent ability means that they automatically hit anything that they target. So let's put the sunglasses on, because things are about to get real hot in here. So you can see the real power of stratagems here. Understanding how they work and what they can do in your army can massively enhance even seemingly weak units into little monsters. And as we're talking about stratagems here, this coincides with the fourth thing I think about when considering which units I want to pick: the army and detachment rules, and how units will benefit from it. If you remember from the first video in the series, we're using Oath of Moment, the army rule of the Space Marines. If the unit the Infernus Squad targets has Oath of Moment on them, they'll be missing out on the reroll hits, but they will be making nearly full use of the +1 to wound. The detachment rule also means that they will be able to take great effect of the Devastator Doctrine, still shooting their Pyroblasters after advancing. The detachment here is really key, as if you had a different detachment rule, these units might lose their synergy. Then the fifth point to consider is points and point values. Points in wargames are mostly a balancing mechanic and are notoriously difficult to get right. But at a glance, comparing similar units can be a good way to see if you can get some more value out of one unit over another. The Intercessor Squad is 80 points currently, whilst an Infernus Squad is 90. All that extra firepower for 10 extra points, you say? Deal. And finally, point 6. It's to pick the unit you think is the coolest. You should always prioritize what you think is cool. There is no point in picking up a bunch of units from your army that you really don't like the look of and playing them because they are good, because that can change pretty quickly. One of the really cool and also annoying things about Warhammer is how in flux the game state can be. A new unit can drop in a faction you don't even play, or some rule will get tweaked and updated, and the whole state of the game will completely change. I've not really brought it up yet, but it's quite good to know that rules and FAQ drops do happen on a fairly frequent basis, so it's worth keeping that in mind. But unfortunately, that doesn't consider the option of when, say, you think 5 things are the coolest, and you maybe want to prioritize the order in which you might be making a purchase. Or if you've filled out your army with all the cool stuff and you've got room for something you're missing, maybe a character, a special weapons unit, or a tank. And whilst point 6 is the most important of all, being able to use the rest of the points is a really helpful way to help you understand how to build out the rest of your army. So, overall, on a 1-by-1 basis, if we compare the Intercessor Squad with the Infernus Squad, we can kind of see what roles they're able to accomplish. The Intercessor Squad is able to tag and capture different objectives on the battlefield, and put out some decent range shooting. However, the Infernus Squad is potentially able to put out a monster amount of wounds, even in your opponent's shooting phase. It won't be able to go out at range and deal this sort of damage easily, unless we combo it with a transport, but that's for another time. And given it's an incredibly defensive unit with a high amount of anti-infantry output, despite its low OC count versus the Intercessors, I think this is better placed as an objective securing unit than the Intercessors. Now that you've seen my 6 must-check factors, which Warhammer 40,000 unit are you thinking about adding to your army next? Let me know in the comments, or I'd love to hear how you're applying these tips to your own faction. If this has been helpful at all, please consider giving this video a like and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget that you can come and hang out on the Discord server for free, where I take submissions for the community showcase. Let's see what's been going on this week.
First up, we have Finbar with this excellent Acastus Knight Asterius for the epic scale games. I'm just in awe. It looks fantastic. Amberly has painted this beautiful Keeper of Secrets. I'm just astounded by the purples and the blendings. It's fantastic work. Biggest Gobbo has been playing some games and has captured these great shots from a recent game. Panorka has done a fabulous job here with the Turnus Blade of the First Prince for Slaves to Darkness. Just a gorgeous colour from the airbrushing there. Lord Puddlesworth has been expanding their Rattling Guard army. Just some amazing kit bashing here. And finally, Q Yum has shown us what I believe is their first painted miniature, and what an excellent miniature to start with. Oracan the Diviner and the lovely popping ghouls there. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.